Hi, this is Jim Haviland, Lay of the Land Weekly Impact, and this conversation was, but once again, part of a series we're doing for the Smart 50 Award for 2025. I spoke with a gentleman named Brian Wilson, who's second generation North American Coating Labs. Great conversation and really interesting technology, but probably most important to me and us here at Impact Architects is he's running on EOS, and gives a shout out to his implementer, Dan Rose, as part of the conversation. So a lot of great stuff in here to learn that applies to many businesses and how to apply the elements of a business operating system to reach success. And he's a great example of it, having gone from a reasonably successful business with his father, but then really becoming super successful under his leadership and adding EOS, which he gives a lot of credit to. So please enjoy my conversation with Brian Wilson. All right, welcome. This is Lay of the Land Weekly Impact, the Smart 50 edition for 2025, where I'm talking to this year's honorees, trying to find out what makes them a smart business. And Brian, tell me a little bit about what are you doing here? What's your business and why is it smart?
So I run North American Coating Laboratories, a business that does coatings for optics. It was started in 1974 by my father doing coatings for eyeglasses and sunglasses. I went to school to become an optical engineer, and now we work on things like laser optics, consumer electronics, augmented and virtual reality, military scopes and sights, and a wide range of other devices in many, many different industries.
Uh, uh, one of my, I've had a very interesting career, but I actually had a paper um, published in optics.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, I did a satellite thing back when I was in college, and
Okay.
I got to be on the paper. And
We've done some coatings for satellites.
well, it was a company in Indianapolis that built these things,
Okay.
and they were supposed to measure. They're basically counting photons. You could talk about it all day. Um,
That's my world. So
that's awesome. So, I mean, is there? I know that there's a lot of polymer work that goes on here. Is it similar and adjacent to that? That's why why it's in Northeast Ohio.
So it just happened that my father was the director of manufacturing for Cole National, which was all the Sears opticals,
Okay,
and had an
got it.
opportunity to bring coatings into that business, and just ended up forming a relationship with the manufacturer of the equipment, and started this company doing coatings, which were then back then just eyeglasses and sunglasses, where then they were all made of glass lenses. But it's
Yeah,
funny that you bring up polymers because eyeglasses and sunglasses transitioned from glass lenses to polymers
sure.
way earlier than most precision optics have. And that's our real keen focus for us as a competitive advantage is the ability to put all these coatings that are normally done at very high temperatures with processes that will melt plastic lenses. We've been able to transition all those formulas to be able to be done on a variety of polymers that are now being more widely used in the precision optics industry.
That's brilliant. I mean, there's glass everywhere. I mean, like the
Exactly.
lens glass. I mean, how many of these are out there?
Exactly.
And it's crazy how much is going on with that. So, so tell me, so your father started it. Did you always want to be in the business, or did you rebel against that at some point?
I never rebelled, but I was kind of raised to go into the business. I have a
Okay.
sister, and she's never been involved with the business, so I'm not sure if it was just firstborn luck or what it was. But I pursued my career in optical engineering, got my degree, and literally 2 weeks after graduation, I've been
Get
working
back
ever
to work.
since. Yeah, I always wanted that last summer vacation, but it didn't work out that way.
So it goes. So how big is the business now?
So right now we have 30 people here in Cleveland, Ohio, in Mentor. I also bought a company last year down in Austin, Texas, and we've got 8 people down there. So trying to just grow our capabilities, our footprint, our customer base, as well as they do some ancillary technologies that are kind of add-ons to the coatings that we do. They do
Right.
coatings as well. So we find out who's the best use for either or the best choice for either one of the two companies when a customer's inquiry comes in, and we kind of put it there.
Great. And are you a target market fit? I imagine. I mean, this is like such a specialized thing. You've got people walking in the door willing to pay whatever it costs to get what you do.
So we have a very wide marketplace, but where we really do well is in like some of the very quick turnaround stuff. So we do
Okay.
partnerships with like augmented and virtual reality companies, Meta, Facebook,
Mm,
Apple, Google, those guys. They need to get their things done quickly. So we actually, because we were in the eyeglass industry and we had people to turn things around very quickly, we've run 3 shifts since we opened 50 years ago. So we are able to move our
huh,
schedules around in order to accommodate expedited needs of our customers. We have a very nimble staff that's able to adjust the production schedule and In some of these cases, as you mentioned, some of these companies are willing to pay premiums to get to the front of the line, and we're able to adjust those things and make it happen. So we'll get inquiries from a customer who may ask today for saying that we'll have a package tomorrow with some optics and then there'll be a special anti-reflective coating, for instance. How quickly can we turn them around? And our
Mm.
response is, well, how quickly do you need them? And they're like, well, same day if possible, haha. And we're like, okay, and here's what it's going to
Yeah,
cost.
yeah. It's just like, there's a price on it. That's all. Yeah.
So it's willing, what they're willing to pay. And so we'll offer them options, same day, next day, 3-day turnaround, and just decide what they're willing to pay.
This is so interesting. So um, your special sauce is not just the materials, but it's also the logistics part of the business.
It is. It's being able to work on the wide range of materials, the plastics, the glasses, even some metal optics. It's also the service. We're highly focused on relationship building, and we build these relationships with these huge companies that I mentioned. And knowing that we're never going to get the millions and millions of pieces of volume, we're just not set up to do that. But
Right.
we are set up to be their best R&D partners because we're quick to respond. We have all the technical capabilities. And our philosophy is, hey, I'd like to get a piece of the pie than no pie at all.
Right.
And for that, we were able to establish these relationships I was talking about with these companies. And every time they have a new idea, they come knocking on our door as soon as it originates, and we're working with them at the very early stages of the best way to try to get to what their end goals are.
Oh, that's brilliant. I love that. So what lessons have you learned? So you've got out of college, you're back in the business. How long have you been running the joint?
I've been running the place fully as the CEO now for about 15 years.
All right. So you've had a chance to do some things less than the best way.
Yes.
And you've learned along the way. What have you learned? What do you take as your most important leadership lessons?
So some of the best lessons I have are to understand the approach to a situation. And by that, I mean, everybody's got a unique character. And if you can best understand your employees, your customers, your vendors, and how they like to be interacted with, especially employees,
Mm-hmm.
you can really get the best out of them. There's no one size fits all when it comes to addressing people. I found that out. That was one of the best lessons learned, and one of the best things I try to pass down to the other leaders in our company is understand your audience.
Yeah.
Knowing that I can say the same thing in 4 different ways to 4 different people and get the best out of each of them. But if I use the same thing for all 4 of them, 2 might think it's great and 2 might think I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
So it's really understanding your audience, catering your conversation, looking for the best qualities in people and trying to grow that. My father used to, and it's an overall business situation from the 80s and 90s. It's like, hey, we've got a great manager that's running this division, but now we've got an opening in this new division. So I'm just going to take this person and slide them over there. That doesn't work.
No.
You got to use, we follow EOS, the Entrepreneurial Operating System. So we use the RPRS, or right person, right seat format.
Yep.
And we really are careful to say, here's the unique talents, abilities, and creative abilities that these people have. How can we best use their unique skill sets to help complement the company and also provide them an opportunity to have fun and enjoy what they're doing for work?
Right. Yeah. We, the part we do at Impact Architects is we help with operating systems, including EOS.
Okay.
We talk all the time about, hey, you want all of your team to be A players. Well, that means everyone's doing something they're great at and love to do.
In the top left quadrant.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, unless you get them there, they're not going to be A
Get 'em out
players.
the bottom rights, man.
Right. Yeah.
Exactly.
People say, oh, I don't want to get rid of this guy. He's been with me a long time. Yeah, but is he ever going to be an A player?
Right.
And you're doing him a disservice by keeping him around.
Yes.
If he's not going to be an A player, that's the meanest thing you could possibly do. Let him go be an A player somewhere.
Exactly.
Well, this is great. So, what do you have problems? Because you're running an EOS shop, you're pretty good at hiring the right people. You don't.
We're very careful on the hiring process.
Good.
We go through a very diligent evaluation if they're going to meet our core values. We're very focused on culture at the company. We took the time to really develop our core values through the EOS implementation process and landed on 3 core values that we hire, fire, and live by on a daily basis.
I love it.
And those are embodies here to help, positive energy, and driven. And when annual performance reviews comes up, quarterly conversations, we're always looking at those core values and seeing how do our employees from top to bottom fit those particular core values.
I love it. Yeah.
And we discuss, ways we can improve or what they're excelling at or how we can get better. We're always looking to get better across the board. Every day, just get a little better. You're either growing or you're dying. Those are the 2 options in this world.
When clients start at the, on their implementation, I tell them, well, you're going to be hiring by your core values. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah,
How am I going to do that?
Right.
Like, I guess I'm trying to figure out what I say. No, you're going to ask them directly.
Right.
Tell me an example of when in your work career you've exemplified this core value.
Exactly.
Right. If you don't have an answer, then probably you haven't.
Right.
It might be there, but,
If
you
you have to
know,
think too long about it, then it's not at the top of your
it's
mind.
probably not
It's
there.
not there.
I'm gonna do you a favor, like, keep moving.
That's right. That's right.
Uh, so do you have an implementer that you worked with that you wanna shout out to?
Sure, we use Dan Rose here
Oh,
locally.
yeah, Dan's great.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
he helped us get through it, and we've been running now for about 2 years on our own, and anytime we need something, we reach out to Dan, but we've got it done pretty well.
that's great, that's great. So what, is there any other earned wisdom you wanna share about, so you're running on EOS, would EOS good for anybody?
Uh, for a small business up to a certain size, I think EOS is a great platform. I
Okay,
mean, one of the greatest things that provided to us is streamlined meetings.
yeah,
Meetings in every company can be really terrible if they're not done right.
almost
And
always are.
everybody's has been into a meeting where you go in and people call a meeting for a specific topic. You start talking about that topic, and then Betty over in the corner 2 minutes later has now veered you off a little bit. And 10 minutes into the meeting, we're like, "Why did we even come in the room? I
Yeah,
don't even remember
right.
what the topic of this meeting was." So keeping the format of the meetings is really key. Having everybody have accountability goals that you can measure, key measurables. It's
Yep.
all just a really great way of running a small business.
Well, Gino would tell you this. He didn't invent this stuff, but the thing is, I tell people there is a way of doing this that you don't know yet, but there is a path. You
Right.
can be very, very good at this. And meetings, I hear about meetings all the time where there's the book report part
Yeah.
where I'm going to tell you everything I did this last week. Nah, it's not helping because now everyone else is tuned out.
Exactly.
You've lost everyone's
Exactly.
attention.
Lost the
Yeah.
audience.
Um, well, so how about mentors? You've had some mentors along the path? And anyone
So
you want to recognize?
Well, I'm going to talk about 2 mentors, actually. One of them is my father, and not in the traditional sense.
Okay.
My father, I give him full credit for taking the steps to start his own business. Took a lot of gumption to be able to do that, but I also watched a lot of mistakes made along the way.
Yeah.
And rather than just following the footsteps of my father exactly, I kind of watched what was done incorrectly and learned from that.
Right.
My parents went through a very nasty divorce that almost like shuttered the company. I
Mm.
watched how that happened. They both took their hands off the wheel. The company was running itself. It was headed for the dumpster. That was right when I graduated.
Uh,
So I was able to come in and
so you
luckily
get to do a turnaround.
yeah, to be a turnaround guy at
Yeah.
21 years old.
Yeah.
But no, so that's been one thing. And then actually another gentleman, our name's cool to use.
Yeah.
Okay. Greg Skoda.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Greg's.
So
Yeah.
I
Obviously.
I was at a luncheon with my father years and years ago. This is before I was running the company. Was invited to this luncheon. I ended up sitting next to Greg. We ended up chatting, just hit it off. And Greg's been a mentor. It's given me some sound advice over the years, become a personal friend, and just a great guy to bounce ideas off of. And his wisdom and his knowledge and his track record is solid. So
I like to ask this question because there are some people that come up on a regular basis who
yeah,
just constantly recognize. I tell my clients all my biggest mistakes in business were all because I didn't have enough mentors to get me out of
yeah,
to keep me from making mistakes.
exactly.
And you got to, you check in with people.
Absolutely. It's
If you're
all
not,
about building relationships. Like I said, you
yeah,
got to have as many as you can.
yeah,
I used to be a kind of an introvert, but now these days I really take every opportunity to network, get to know people,
yeah,
because getting to know people and getting to know who they know, that can help you solve a lot of problems in this
yeah.
world. Everybody's seen something at some point, so you don't have to figure it all out yourself. There's other people that can help you along the way.
The model that I share with all my clients, because it's hard to know when you know enough to
Right.
make good decisions. It's with the Dunning-Kruger curve. You know
Mhm.
about this, right?
Yes.
Like at the beginning, you're at the top of Mount Stupid. You know a little bit, and you think you're above average on it. It's like
Right.
no, no, no. You don't know anywhere. You know less than half of what you think you know,
Right.
which means you're almost guaranteed to make the wrong choice.
Exactly.
Right.
Law
So
of averages.
yeah, you gotta keep asking. So when you're coming on a new situation, you gotta keep collecting information until you've got okay. I started to hear some themes now. I'm starting to pick it out. So I think it's great stuff. Um, Anything you want to go back and tell young Brian Wilson if at 21 years old that you it didn't know then that you know now?
So I think one thing that's super key is building yourself a world-class leadership team that you
Yeah.
trust. My wife and I have a huge passion for travel. We want to see as much of this world as we can while we're still on this planet. And up until recently, I was struggling to try to find the right group of people in the right role, the right person, the right seat, right?
Yep.
And now we've done that. So the fact is, I can take a 3-week vacation, and the company runs perfectly on its own. Now, some of the high-level projects, acquisition looks, and things like that, those go on hold. But day-to-day operations, if you've got the right people that you trust, could be handled appropriately without you having to be on the phone every 5 minutes. I remember growing up and going to Disney as a kid, and every 20 minutes, my father was at a
Yeah.
payphone calling and checking on how things were going. And I'm like, I never want to have to do that.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's not leadership, right?
that's right.
And
It's micromanaging.
it becomes something where you're not actually building a transferable asset. You're like, if
Exactly.
something happens to you, this business isn't worth anything, right?
No. So
Uh,
I've
and
got a wonderful team that I really am proud of.
that's great.
They've given me this opportunity.
Have you had to change some people out along the way? I mean, has there have been?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So either change out a couple retired. We have like a crazy retention policy. Just a couple weeks ago, we had somebody, our accounting person left after 47 years.
All right,
Yeah.
that's
So the
great.
company's 50 years old. So that tells you something. I mean, she used to babysit me if you want to.
All right,
So that's kind of crazy. But yeah, so we've
family
had to
business, man. I love it.
change people out along the way,
Mhm.
and really just always look to get people that are in tune with the core values and see the vision and see the goal and see the finish line that we're always going to strive for.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, great. Thanks for talking today. I think congratulations on all the good work.
Well, thank you very
Um,
much.
and hopefully we'll see you back again. You'll be at the big party.
I'm not going to be because I'll be traveling. My wife and I already have plans, but I'm sending my business development manager and my operations manager, my place. They're the ones
Oh,
that
good
kind
for
of
you.
inspired this whole thing and actually wrote the part to get me into this.
Oh,
So
there you go. That's a great
I'll
way
give
to
them
kind of
credit
get
too.
feedback to them. Perfect.
Absolutely.
Let them go to the party.
Exactly.
All right.
So,
Thanks so much,
all right,
man.
thanks.